All right, guys. So, like I said, I was kind of on the fence about if we're opening lower. I thought we were opening lower, but we didn't. Instead, what we were doing is we're having a decline. But the decline at the end of the day, I just want to point this out. Yesterday, the decline that I was looking for at the end of the day, man, this happens too frequently. Right after the close, like if it's options, there's nothing you can do about it. Right? So right after the close, that big decline took us almost back to the low of the day. If you count out this, right? That's what I was looking for. So that once I saw that, it's like, okay, we're probably opening up higher. Thankfully, I prepared myself in case I was wrong, and I opened up those calls yesterday. So really, like, I opened with like a $29 loss for the day, and that quickly turned into a gain based on this decline that we've gone into. And since then, what I did is I sold the 411 put that I was kind of iffy about. Excuse me, guys. So sorry. Hey, AV. I sold the 411 put that I was iffy about, and I bought back the 412 call that I had sold against the 413s with. So now I got 3 413 calls for November 7th. They're down like 4%. Total, and then I still got the 415 puts because I do expect us to decline. I like that price level. That 415 seems like a good price level to me. I haven't bought back the 420 calls because it's so far out of the money. Like right now, that this combo right here, the 2 short 419s, the 2 short 421s, and the 4 long 420s, that's one position, right? Right now, I locked in a gain on that. If I remove the 421s, I'm actually adding cost to that position, and then it risks taking a loss again. Being that it's so far out of the money, I'd rather just stick with the locked-in gain that I took. So that'll probably expire worthless. If it does get up into the 421s, then I'll end up losing. Actually, no, I don't lose anything. It'll come out even there. So I've locked in a gain there. So really what I'm playing with are the 413 calls and the 415 puts. Those are the 2 positions that matter. And I took a small loss. I took like a $50 loss on the 411 put that I sold, and like a $60 loss buying back the 412 call. So like $100 loss that I realized, but that was really to hedge, not so much like a big move in one direction, as much as it was more so to hedge my mentality in case things went the wrong way overnight, which is really important, guys. You got to remember, mentality is like 99% of the battle, right? You must master your mentality, and that means knowing when you won't be able to control it, right? Know thyself. People that know thyself will eventually lead to like being supreme traders. My friends. So learn techniques to manage your mentality, to manage your risk tolerance is the term they use in the industry a lot. I mentioned it a lot, guys. Risk tolerance. And this is why it's really not advised to be trading with money that's not disposable. If you're trading with money that you need tomorrow to pay your rent, you're going to make the wrong decisions when it's in the market. You could be right, but there's going to be a moment at which the market goes in the wrong direction and makes you think that you're wrong. And if that money is not disposable, you're at a high risk of selling at a loss. Hopefully that makes sense, people. And the thing is you got to remember, we're not trading against humans. We're trading against artificial intelligence now, my friends. Artificial intelligence that is designed to do one thing: manipulate human emotion, leading to more money for the people who own the artificial intelligence. So manipulating through human emotion, market direction. That's the AI that we're dealing with. You have to remember that, my friends. Hey, it was luck. Appreciate it. It's good to be on in the morning, guys. Good to be trading again. Although I'm going to take a break very, very soon. Probably Thursday morning will be my last trade for a while, probably until Mercury retrograde's influence starts. That's another thing that I learned about myself is that you gotta understand, I trained my mentality. I completely changed my mentality. Like I was a completely different person at one point. Are you joking? Did you just send me $4,850? There's no way. Did you? I'm like, wow. Wow, dude. That was like a small miracle for me. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you. Really appreciate that. If you need anything from me, let me know, my man. I got you. Really appreciate that. I'm like almost in disbelief. Okay, that's where like 150. Okay, so in US it's 150. That makes more sense. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Still very, very much needed. Big drop coming in Bitcoin in next 14 days. How low Bitcoin can go? Well, I know, Kel, that it's not going to reach 25K. I know it won't go that low. We were working on that yesterday, and for some reason I actually remember that prediction. Yeah, see, so here's this sideways rotation, right? Or I should say volatility. This is very like Prince of Swords, kind of jagged, kind of erratic behavior. Then we have this fast sudden move higher right there at the beginning at the open, followed by this volatility that should end with a fast. Matter of fact, I think we'll probably go lower here. We're probably going to go into like a low here, like before noontime, before we turn around and we head the other direction. Right, because we got a sharp drop that'll stand out in a period of volatility here after a fast sudden move higher to meet resistance somewhere around 10 o'clock. We should have more volatility and a sharp drop in that period of volatility. What will be the reaction to Powell tomorrow at 2 p.m.? Look at that. That's Powell right there. Knight of Discs. A male leader having to do with finance. And here we go. We're going lower here, guys. Hold on a sec. I was probably a little hasty making those moves because I knew I was going to wait till like 11 o'clock, and for whatever reason I forgot. So if we go substantially lower here into like the 11 to 12 o'clock hour, I'll close out of my 415 puts. And then I'll probably double down on my 413 calls, depending on how low we go. If we go too low, I might not. But what I'm looking to do is hold those calls for this jump overnight. And I'd probably buy some puts at the end of the day too. Depending on how high we are at the end of the day, I'll probably buy some puts there. Because we got this unicursal. It's a bearish day, low at the end of the day. We do have a high at the end of the day as well, so that's important to notate with the abundance card and the unicursal. We might end up having a high here before like a drop in like something like that. Hard to say. So Powell, market's reaction. I think we're gonna have some whipsaw action there in the last hour. Probably take us to a new high after creating a low. We'll probably turn around and move to a new high into the close. And then there's a significant drop overnight into the second. That's where I'll close out of my positions and take a breather right there. Coming up on the bottom end of the RSI, guys. It's not the decline that I would chase. Will QQQ go lower than 346 today? Uh, 346, which is like roughly right there. Will it go lower than 346 today? QQQ, yes or no? I believe the truce is a yes, but it might be a maybe, so let me just double check here. I want to make sure. So on our website, guys, we have a bunch of definitions and stuff specifically for trading in relation to the cards if you don't know. All of my basically all of my notes are here. Well, not all of them, but a lot of my notes are here. All of my notes are in the book. Well, were in the book. Now I have more notes. We're going to update that book soon. It's a maybe. Interesting. So when I get a maybe for a question like that, think about that for a sec. Will it go lower than... Will it go... Will QQQ go lower than 345 today? Let's see what happens. I got a yes. That is a drop. So that'd be the drop I was talking about. Wow. And I thought it was this little like that we had, but this is definitely more of what I expected. And I did say if we ended up near a high, it was very much more likely to be a drop overnight, but it ended up being here in the morning rather than overnight. And that'll happen sometimes, guys. That's a sequence of events. That's why you got to trade responsibly, because there may be times when you don't have the opportunity to do what you need to do as far as trades are concerned. Life happens. You have to remember that. AB, how's Amazon looking today? Let's take a look. Interesting. Yeah, I think so. I think we'll still see a drop there. I think we're probably just in the beginning of it here. And this would be like the range that we're bound by that's highlighted. And we should go into a trough here. Yeah, I think we'll probably take a sharp drop here, guys. What is it, 10 o'clock? So this would be resistance, important resistance that we meet, and then there should be a drop here. What's the name of that ruin? Or Urs. Probably Urs, the one that I would go with. U-R. Interesting. So this has a very different definition in it of that ruin than what I have from another book. Interesting, very interesting. So I'm going to look how that plays out. Maybe I'll learn something here. Almost profitable to puts. don't know. Maybe I should buy back those 421 calls. I don't know. Let me see. No, I shouldn't. But I should buy 413 calls. Interesting. So this will probably go a bit lower. I think the 414s will end up being profitable. Or excuse me, the 415 puts might end up being profitable, and I think I might roll those into a better position. Or really sell and then buy puts at the end of the day, I should say. So I'm looking for this full card to exit out of those puts for a profit. If it's not the full card, then we'll probably have a pop and drop and then another trough before a big move higher out of it. But that's kind of tricky area over there, so I really like to get out of those puts here if I can. Will Tesla go below 190 today or in November? Wow, Tesla's really holding kind of strong here in the midst of what's going on in the market. Where did it go? Oh, here. So we've got a reversal there. That's a tricky card to get overall direction. So the question is, will Tesla meet 190 today or in November? Yeah, I would say there's a very strong possibility that it hits 190 in November. Maybe even as early as the 8th or the 10th, but probably by the 22nd. Does Tesla hit 190 today? I got a yes. Let me try that again. Does Tesla drop to $190 today? Yes or no? I got a yes. We got a big drop. That's probably that full card, guys. Probably have a really big drop with that full card. I just have a feeling here. Do I think SPY along here? Not yet, no. You might put on a partial here, but I don't think so. Not yet. I have a long position, but I also have short positions, so kind of like balancing each other out right now. Hey, Panupa, welcome. Are we in a bull market? Oh wow, look at that pop. So that's going to be that right there is the end of the night. So we had this period of volatility, fast sudden move higher. So now we should see more volatility. This is the resistance. Like there's a resistance point here that when this turns around, I would mark as resistance, and then we should have more volatility with a sharp drop. I think this full card is probably going to be a notable move to the downside. There's a secondary correlation between the trade card and the low card. So even though we don't see the low correlation here on the timeline, there are trade card correlations, and there is somewhat like a secondary association there. Oh, I'm talking about like between, I'm talking about between like, probably between like 11 and 12 o'clock. Are we in a bull market? No, we're not. Will crypto start pumping before the year is up? I believe so. Let me see what the cards say. Hermes, you want to go down, buddy? Or you want to go back on your bed? Here. You want to go down? You're a good boy, Hermes. Will crypto start pumping before the end of the year, yes or no? I got yes. I got 3 yeses in a row. Bitcoin will not break its all-time high this year, no. It's not going to break its all-time high until probably like 2027 or 2028. But it'll probably come close to 65K by the end of 2024, early 2025. You're welcome. It was luck. Appreciate you, my man. All right, so there you go. There's that fast sudden move higher. This is really like the end of the volatility, guys. It's 410, so we're pretty much like on point here. And you know what's interesting is that this ruin, I said maybe I'll learn something here. This ruin is actually, it's not just resistance, but there's like a big move into the resistance. Like in this other little pamphlet I have, it gives sort of different definitions, moderately different definitions of the ruins than like the other books that I've read. And in here it's actually talking about strength. And that would be a big move to resistance, because this has to do with resistance. So it would be strength, a big move out of a decline from the bottom of range to the top of a range to meet resistance. Much more specific than just resistance. So that's something new that I've learned just this morning. And that's the great thing, guys, is that as long as you keep your mind open, you keep on learning and learning and learning. That's the only way I figured out how to do this, is by thinking, you know, what do I really know? What do I really know? What other people tell me? Or what I know for myself? I got a book coming out called Ask Thyself. Or Ask Yourself, actually, it'll be called. It's going to be some time for that one, though. We're going to see a year's high in BTC at the end of the year, Panupa. It'll be a high for the year. So my risk slide is in both directions, but a little bit more money made to the upside right now. Because what I'm really looking for, guys, this is going to be like a wild day. I wouldn't expect this to like go much higher. I'd see it turning around here. This is the upper end of the range, right? See it turning around here. And then more volatility with a sharp drop that'll stand out. We might go a little bit higher based on the RSI. But technically what we really need to see is a dip below this 20 before we go up into the 80s again. That's the theory behind RSI, is you go from one extreme jaggedly down to the other extreme before you see this extreme again. That's most cases, but that's not always the case. You could have a super strong trend where it just keeps hitting one end of the RSI. It depends on the altcoin, Panupa. There's so many altcoins, they're not all going to do that. It looks like it's a yes, though, overall. I would recommend going to our channel here. Oh, right here. So this is the channel, right? And not this search bar, but the one down here with the little next to about. This search bar searches only the channel, whereas this search bar searches all of YouTube. So go to the channel search and put in, oh, you don't even have to do that. It's right here, all crypto predictions in our playlists. There's 252 predictions to check out. Sorry, guys, daydreaming. I wish I knew how to pronounce the super chat tipper's name. I think that's Chinese. I'm actually learning Chinese. It looks like Chinese to me. One of those words is, Man, what is that? I think one of those. I think this word right. One of the words in the guy's name means day, but I might be wrong. I'm just like an early intermediate in Chinese. Yeah, Powell. Tomorrow I did. It's gonna be a whipsaw kind of action tomorrow. We should see a drop and then a big move to like a new high for the day at the close. We should have a drop to a low in the last hour, like or after Powell speaks, a drop to the lows of the day, and then a big move higher to the high of the day, like into the close. Oh, okay, cool. Appreciate it, Kenny. Much appreciation. Blessings to you. I hope this information continues to help you. And hello to Taiwan. That's so cool. I expect pretty notable drop here, guys. Kind of like back into the lows of the day, probably, or lower even. That's exactly what this ruin tells me. Wow, that's so awesome. So it's a big move out of a decline from the bottom of a range to the top of a range to meet key resistance. It's not just key. It's not just key resistance highlighted, but behavior into that resistance is specific. Hermes, what you doing, buddy? You want to come back up? You're a good boy. Come on, little boy. You can sit on my lap if you want. You're a good boy, Hermes. Everybody loves you, you know? Everybody loves you. Yeah, that's awesome, Kenny. As long as you do that, man, as long as you follow through on that rule of karma, channel should keep paying off for you pretty well. That's the idea of the channel. Okay, well, as long as you found a way, that's awesome, and I appreciate the fact that you didn't give up the first time around and really like, uh, you know, what's the word? Persevered to find a way to do it. I appreciate that. I'm sure the universe does too, Kenny. What about the Wise app? Did you try the Wise app? Did that doesn't work? This one right here. I'm just curious because I know it worked for somebody in I think it was Korea. I'm pretty sure it was Proof. Proof used Wise. I'm not sure where Proof is from though. Yeah, they do. They take about 30%, but that's okay. They also are a big part of the reason why people have found me. So, in my opinion, it's, that's fair to me. They do a lot for the channel, YouTube does. Without YouTube, nobody would know about me probably. I mean, I'd rather see it come through and get all the money, but it doesn't bother me if you do it through YouTube because, YouTube helps out too. They should make some money. And for those of you that are watching that are new, what Kenny is talking about is the rule of karma for the channel. It's super important that you guys follow this rule of karma. You should really do your best to follow through on it every time you have a profitable trade utilizing this information, because that's how the universe will continue to continue the flow of abundance to you through this channel. It will shut it off to people that don't follow through on the rule of karma. It's like a safeguard for the universe. This is the only reason why we're allowed to make money from the stock market this way. Otherwise, it wouldn't be good. It's competitive energy. What we're actually doing is transmuting it and enriching the lives of other people, making the world a better place by doing so. Oh, I got you. Well, if you ever decide to try it out, so you know it does work. I've had somebody else use it. It's a safe app to use. Maybe I should try opening up an international account. I wonder if that's a solution. I'm going to look into that. That's probably a solution. If I open up like an international account, people from that nation would be able to deposit. Well, I appreciate your support, Kenny. That's awesome. Glad to hear you've been around, my man. And I think it's also important that you watch the channel for a while before you start immediately trying to trade off of the information too, because it's a good idea to like see how the information should be utilized, like before actually putting money down, because it's not as simple as people think. When you tell them, hey, we're predicting the stock market, they're like, oh, okay, how are you making that money? Like, no, it's not that simple. I'm sure you know from watching. All right, guys, so I'm going to roll. What I'm looking to do here... Awesome, Kenny. Glad to hear you had a profitable trade, man. And here's to many more. A sip of my coffee. All right, guys, so what I'm looking for right now on both sides of the market, I'm a little bit more heavily weighted to the upside, right? So my risk scale is here, right? The more SPY's price moves higher, more money I make. If it goes in the opposite direction, it needs to go a certain amount. It's a little misleading because there's some loss in here. But what I'm looking for is it to move in this direction, up to the upside, right? If we continue to go lower, which I think we'll probably do sometime here in the next few minutes, what I'll do is sell these 415 puts somewhere here around 11 to 12 if there's a low there. And then in that case, I would buy them back at this brief peak that's easily missed in the midst of like a breakout that takes us to a high for the day towards the end of the day around 3 o'clock. I buy back puts. Probably a partial position on puts, just to be clear, because the next day is bearish, but I think we probably have a pop to the upside. Interesting. I might sell the calls at the end of the day, too. Originally, what I was thinking is to sell them here, but I might sell them at the end of the day. It depends on how much we've moved. And I'll be back on around 3 o'clock, my friends. Thank you so much for watching. As always, make sure to follow that rule of karma we were just talking about. And blessings to all my angel